Hello everyone, this is R.S. Miller at the endtimenews.org and today is June 1st, 2014. Israeli tanks make two separate incursions into Gaza. Multiple sources are reporting that earlier today on June 1st, multiple Israeli tanks and personnel crossed into Gaza conducting operations. One operation occurred east of Rafah, where several bulldozers accompanied by military vehicles cleared farm fields on the Gazan side of the border, providing a 200-meter buffer zone from the Israeli-Gaza border fence. Witnesses had also reported seeing Israeli helicopters flying over the area. A short while later, several Israeli tanks were said to have crossed into Gaza while firing artillery shells into the air, although there were no immediate reports of casualties or damage other than that which was caused by the clearing of the farmland near the border fence. Meanwhile, it is also being reported that Palestinian terrorists have fired an estimated 100 rockets across the border into Israel since the beginning of 2014. Additionally, Hamas, the well-known terrorist group operating from the Palestinian side and parts of the West Bank, is to officially join Abbas as part of a unity government. Hamas, who is funded at least in part by Iran, Israel's arch-enemy, has in essence vowed to never give up the struggle against Israel. Just this past week, Hamas's prime minister in Gaza said, "We will not give up the weapon of resistance, and we will not forsake resistance." He went on to say, "We will not depart the position of manliness and dignity, and will remain loyal soldiers of Palestine." In other words, the very fact that Israel's eternal enemies, who are now seeking to become part of the government for the proposed two-state solution, will not bring any sort of lasting peace. The fact that Israel exists and continues to prosper as a Jewish state is in and of itself a core reason for Hamas, Iran, and the Palestinians to never give up the resistance. They do not want a Palestinian state alongside of Israel. What they want is a Palestinian state instead of Israel. Friends, as a follower of Jesus Christ, it is our duty to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And seeing that according to Bible prophecy, we are truly living in the last days, we should pray even more. Most of the world wants to blame Israel for the troubles which plague the Middle East in spite of all the evidence to the contrary. However, this is what God has to say about it. In Zachariah chapter 12, starting at verse 2, "Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of drunkenness to all the surrounding peoples, when they lay siege against Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall happen in that day that I will make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. All who would heave it away will surely be cut in pieces, though all nations of the earth are gathered against it." And in verse 9 he says, "It shall be in that day that I will seek to destroy all nations that come against Jerusalem." And in chapter 14, starting at verse 2, God continues, "For I will gather all the nations to battle against Jerusalem. The city shall be taken, the houses rifled, the women ravaged. Half of the city shall go into captivity, but the remnant of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then the Lord will go forth and fight against those nations as he fights in the day of battle. And in that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, which faces Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall be split in two, from east to west." And in verse 12, God tells us what's going to happen to those nations who fight against Jerusalem. And this is what he says. And this shall be the plague with which the Lord will strike all the people who fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall dissolve while they stand on their feet. Their eyes shall dissolve in their sockets, and their tongues shall dissolve in their mouths. This is a perfect description of what happens to the human body at ground zero of a nuclear blast. That time which is being spoken of in Zachariah is far closer than many think. We are in fact living in the last days. Are you saved? If you follow the link in the box below and pray the prayer of salvation with a sincere heart, you will be saved. May God bless you and yours.